Hey everyone. So, we've been talking about, well, the resume and resume writing, and again, I'm no resume expert. Then we jumped into the interview, and again, I'm no interview expert. Luckily, by the grace of God, thank you. But I've had more than my fair share of interviews, and I've interviewed people as well. So let's continue talking about the interview. Last time we talked about preparing for the interview, your attire, your presentation, but what about what's up in here? Obviously, you know what's up in here because you applied for that position, so you know what's going on. But again, especially for those of you that are still beginning or sort of entering the job market and you're still trying to figure things out, or you've gone to school and now you're ready to face the big time. Now you're ready to face, now to put everything you've learned into action. Well, that being the case, it does not hurt you to prepare your interviews and the interview questions. Prepare for the interview questions. Now, in the last episode, I did mention going online, looking up those questions, but make sure that those questions aren't just the generic questions, but that they are industry specific. They're industry specific. So if you're applying to work at a natural gas company, well, make sure that you understand the regulations, or at least you don't have to learn them all. You don't have to be a master at them, because what if you don't get hired and then you've picked up all that information? Now, while it doesn't hurt you, again, you're still now focusing on the next job and the next position, and so on and so on. So you have got to be careful, but familiarize yourself with more of the popular terms. Familiarize yourself with some of the larger industry standards and regulations. Just kind of have a glancing idea, or just go skim the surface. You don't have to dive deep. Now, it's up to you, and it doesn't hurt, but you don't have to dive deep. But let them know that, it lets them know that you're prepared to do the work, you're prepared to put in the homework, you're prepared to make things happen for them. So again, you're prepared to make them look good. The next one is ensure that you are also ready with your position, that you've mastered the position you want to get into. You've mastered what it takes to get there. Obviously, you've made the first cut. Now you've made the cut to be interviewed. So ensure that what you're doing there is understood. So make sure that you know the ins and outs of the position you're applying for. If you're applying to be an accountant, well, make sure that you understand the general acceptable accounting practices. Make sure you have that under control. If you're applying to be an RN, well then by all means, make sure that you understand everything, anatomy all the way up to pathology, zoology. So, with that being the case, do your homework. Do your homework. Don't hesitate. Don't pull punches. Get in there. Start looking up questions. Start looking up all the questions. And like I said, look up questions, especially those that deal with federal and state regulations of the job you want to do. I mentioned that about general acceptable accounting practices. I also mentioned about state regulations, federal regulations. Again, practice practice the answers, practice finding the answers, and then putting your own answers, putting your own spin on the answers. So you can actually say, I did look up about the regulatory commission that monitors this natural gas industry here in this state. However, I'm not too familiar, but I do know where to go look for future answers. I do know what is behind it. I do know how to find things. I'm not afraid to go look for stuff. And also, I'm not afraid to ask questions from my peers, my coworkers, my superiors. And that also says good things, because it says that you're ready to be part of a team. And trust me, they look for that. Because again, you can't do it all yourself. Also, don't forget to prep for the hypothetical questions. Those hypothetical questions, such as, tell us about a time when something did not go as planned, and what did you learn from it? They're going to ask that. Those hypothetical situational questions, they're going to be out there. So start practicing those. Start realistically looking at that, because they want to know what you've done. They want to hear how quickly you can form an answer, how quickly you can get yourself out of a situation, and what did you learn in those situations you did get yourself into. So again, practice those. Another question that they would say is, tell us about a unique situation and how did you address it? How do you address unique situations? And then start formulating your answer. Now, folks, these, again, like I said, there's no right answer, no wrong answer. And if you learn nothing, be honest. But every situation, there's always something to learn. Every time you're dealing with a unique situation or the same situation over and over again, you learn something. Well, one, you learn how to do it over and over again, but find that one specific thing, because yes, you will learn something. It doesn't matter what you do, who you are, where you're from, what's going on. You're always going to learn something. Now, folks, again, prepare, practice, plan, and then guess what? Plan, prepare, practice all over again, the 3 Ps. Just keep doing it until you land that job. But keep practicing, keep planning, keep preparing, and just keep looking and filling in the questions, anticipate the questions, but don't get to that point that it's like, well, they never asked me that question, I didn't even study for it. That's fine, that's good, because how well you did on that one also reflects on the ones that you did prepare for. Be ready to answer other questions, and again, also look up the questions you should not be answering. They should not be asking, and you should not be answering. And if you're in an HR situation, if you're applying to become somebody in the HR department, to fill in a vacancy in the HR department, then they're gonna ask you those questions. And again, it's to check on you to see how well you know your stuff. And so don't hesitate there. Folks, this is Trust the Process. And again, my name is David Guerra. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you next week.